suburb that is Sydney Olympic Park hosts the equivalent, if you like, of the 100-metre sprint. Bowen v Barber head-to-head for the first time in 2012. A few tree huggers in the crowd, but mainly rugby league blue bloods. Hope to see a couple of star players turn on a show. 23 tries between the two fullbacks this year. They've set up many more. And around the ground there is a feeling of anticipation. Matt Russell in commentary alongside Greg Alexander. Brandy, a top four clash this one. It should be outstanding.
Well, it's a great clash, isn't it? And the Cowboys, here's their lineup. Matt Bowen at the back, Khalifa Faifai Law and Antonio Winterstein are the wingers. Brent Tate, Kane Linnett in the centres. Jonathan Thurston, Michael Morgan are the halves. Scott Payne Tamo up front. Gavin Cooper, Glenn Hall and Dallas Johnson are the back rowers. Mitchell, Thorby, Sims and Bolton the interchange bench.
Let's go to the Dogs, who have lost Chris Keating this week. Sam Cassiano out with a fractured cheekbone. It means that Joel Romolo plays his first game since round 10 in the halves alongside Josh Reynolds. Marty Tapau plays his fourth game of the season and first starting role. Aidan Tolman drops back to the interchange alongside Finucane, Payne and Stagg. Des Hasler in charge of the team that sits on top of the table and can go 4 points clear with victory in this one. As you'd expect, plenty of Bulldogs fans at the Olympic Stadium hoping to see their team make it 9 in a row. The longest winning streak since 2004 on offer here this evening. But North Queensland with victory can take a massive step towards finishing in the top four, one of the prized positions, as we head towards the pointy end of 2012. Both the sides in form. We've talked about the Dogs' long winning streak, and North Queensland, Brandy, having won 4 of their last 5.
Yeah, and looked impressive doing it too. And 2 of those wins, their 2 most recent, were against the Melbourne Storm and the Tigers. Of course, beating the Storm down there at Amy Park for the first time in many years.
The most recent victory for these men on Monday night against West Tigers. It's been a short week by usual standards. A trip to Sydney where they've struggled, and an opposition that is in a red-hot form. Jonathan Thurston will lead them out. Still looking for his first try of 2012. He's on the longest drought of his club career. Maybe tonight is the night. But there are any number of try-scoring options in both of these lineups.
Yeah, both teams filled with great attacking players. Jonathan Thurston, as you said, hasn't crossed the stripe, but has certainly played his part in setting plenty up. Dallas Johnson playing his 200th NRL game tonight, and he's the man that shores up the middle of the ruck in defence for the Cowboys. And they'll certainly need it tonight with the Dogs coming at them. Great battle in the forwards. Thurston, well contained by the Tigers last week. I think Des Hasler would have done some homework on that, really rushed him and cut down his thinking time.
Here come Canterbury after an unsettled week. Chris Keating had played 14 straight games in the halves. They've had to find a replacement in Joel Romolo. And of course, Sam Cassiano replaced in the starting lineup by Marty Tapau. Des Hasler praising their defence privately. And the stats are there on show for all to see. The best defensive team in the competition now, led out by Mick Ennis. Josh Morris following, and a big smile on the face of Frank the Tank.
Well, what a season he's having. Josh Morris, 16 tries, the leading try scorer in the NRL. A long way from the player that played New South Wales Cup last year. And Frank Pritchard only missed 1 game for the Dogs so far this year, been super consistent and always poses a threat to the defence with his footwork and his ability to offload the ball.
Mick Ennis still to score his first try of 2012 as well. He'd like to break that duck. Marty Tapau, you won't miss him. Michael Morgan's still in the Cowboys lineup because Ray Thompson's still a week away. James Graham starting tonight, having played most of his Australian football off the interchange and doing amazingly well. A slight change in role. We are go. Bundaberg's Super Saturday underway. Yep. And it is the Cowboys who have the first touch. Matt Scott, a man who described in the media this week as having the biggest test of the season in front of him, the Bulldogs. Immediate shift finds Glenn Hall. Thurston sends play back the other way through Johnson to Tamo, who was apparently in the eyes of Ricky Stewart at Parramatta. And now Johnson in game 200. He made his debut in 2003 with Melbourne. Has become known as a tackling machine. Bowen completes the first set. It was on the 5th play, and they pick out Jonathan Wright.
You mentioned the front rows. Marty Tapau starts his first game, as does James Graham. So it's a new starting pair for the Dogs up front. And they're certainly up against it in Tamo and Matt Scott, who ran for over 300 metres combined against the Tigers on Monday night.
Here is Graham. Yes, plenty of people expected Aidan Tolman to keep his starting role and James Graham to come off the bench, but Des Hasler saw it differently as Josh Reynolds goes to Barber for the first time, who comes to Thurston and is tackled in between halfway and the Cowboys' 40-metre line. This is Eastwood. And now Reynolds chips, bringing Bowen across, and he gets it without trouble. And then runs into a stiff tackle from Michael Ennis, leading the chase. Linnett into Graham.
You can only imagine the work that both coaches spent on kick chase with Barber and Bowen, both at the back. Barber has been scintillating, Matt Bowen just as dangerous. If that chase isn't a straight line.
We've seen them go the length of the field often this season, both of them. These teams with a real ability to score from 50-plus metres. As another completion from the Cowboys goes to Jonathan Wright again.
He wouldn't have been happy with that one, Aaron Payne. Out of dummy half, had plenty of time to put it where he wanted. Jonathan Wright had dropped back, but the kick skewed off the side of his foot and went straight to the Bulldogs winger.
Ennis wanted the faster play of the ball. He goes to Graham and then to Powell. Back to Graham. Hasn't he been impressive in his debut season? With a mountain of football in England under his belt and building on it in Australia. Barber again looping around Reynolds. Linnett and Thurston have him. Perrott will serve as acting half. The last for the Dogs. It comes to Reynolds. The kick across field. Tate waits and jumps and comes down with it. Brent Tate.
How impressive has Brent Tate been under the high ball? And you only have to go back to Origin. And in State of Origin 1, he saved Queensland. Billy Slater having an off night under the high ball. He was like that again on Monday night against the Tigers. Just took everything thrown at him.
Aaron Payne out of acting half and passing for Dallas Johnson. They've got a rotten record against the Dogs to overcome as Thurston continues to spread the ball and finds Gavin Cooper. The Dogs have won 19 of their 28 meetings against the Cowboys, including the last 4. Thurston kicks on the last, keeping it low. And Ben Barber has it in his bright orange boots. And opts for the yellow. And the pass went behind Josh Morrison into touch. An early error from Jonathan Wright as they look to shift the ball.
He went back to help Ben Barber and pushed Josh Morris out to the wing. Jonathan Wright then threw a horrible ball, really. It was never on. Even if Morris takes that one, he's got nowhere to go. The Cowboys presented a straight line to the Bulldogs' back 3.
In the 20, boys. Just on that.
First real opportunity here for the Cowboys. You spoke about their ordinary record against the Bulldogs. It's just been an ordinary record here in Sydney. It's something that needs to change.
Payne to Bowen, and now Thurston takes a tackle just past the 20-metre line. Winterstein goes himself, crosses the 10 and will play it 8 metres out. Payne again couldn't get away from acting half as Mick Ennis jumped on him. The ball comes free now. Morgan runs and takes a tackle, eventually 8 metres short. Bowen to Tamo. He'll have a run. Looks to offload, twists towards the in goal, James Tarmo. It takes 4 dogs to stop him. Payne to Thurston. Out the back to Bowen. He continues to shift to Linnett. And Linnett can't break this Dogs defence either. The last here. Some early pressure for Canterbury, soaked up so far. Bowen had to reach the offload to Johnson. He goes along the ground towards the bootlaces of Marty Tapau. And the referees have spotted a knock on.
He was facing sideways. I thought they could have gone either way. Let's have a closer look at it. Dallas Johnson. Had his foot there, got his hand down. Yeah, no, they got it right. Did have his hand on the side of the ball, closest to the Bulldogs' goal line, which meant just that slightest touch was enough to rule it a knock on. The Dogs, the best defensive record in the competition, will be tested here. They could hold them out for 1 set. We've seen how difficult it is to hold teams out for 2.
Here they come again. The Cowboys through Bowen, pulled down from behind. It was Romolo doing the job. Now Hall in front of the uprights. 4 metres out. Still 4 plays left. A flat ball has been dropped. Knocked on midway through the set, and they let Canterbury off the hook.
Yeah, disappointing from the Cowboys. I don't know whether Aaron Payne was intending the ball for Dallas Johnson, who got too far in front of the man outside him. That meant that Aaron Payne couldn't pass the ball across the front of Dallas Johnson. Even if that was the plan from Payne.
Second row's in first. Keep your heading, Tristan. Outside leg up, Josh. 2 hands, mate. Yeah, face square.
So Canterbury survive, and just back to the Cowboys' record in Sydney against the Dogs. They've won just 3 of 10, so 30% against tonight's opposition in Sydney. Pritchard. Missing his beard brother in San Cassiano. Replaced by this man, Marty Tapau.
A couple of good runs there. Pritchard looking to back up again.
James Graham gives it to Reynolds. And Inu thought about an inside ball to Barber. Didn't pull the trigger, and now it's with Josh Jackson to James Graham. A pretty solid set from the Dogs after defending for the best part of 2 sets. Now Reynolds kicks high and deep. No real pressure on Matt Bowen, and he can mark in goal. Fai Law, who finished that fantastic try for North Queensland on Monday night. Gavin Cooper. The ball comes free, and it's picked up by Reynolds. A knock on against the visitors.
And it was Reynolds underneath Gavin Cooper there. Whether it was that contact that jarred the ball free or someone over the top. And it was the hand of Inu. He really didn't play a part in the tackle, just bent over to assist Reynolds. But the Dogs, after a soft finish to their last set with a kick to the in goal for Matt Bowen, an easy mark for him. We'll get another chance here.
Head in, Gavin. All the way, Matt. Head down, Mick. Get it in, Mick. Righto. Right here. Out. Willis.
James Graham goes to Ben Barber. He gets away from Morgan and comes again. Ben Barber. Instantly the crowd cheers. He's given half a chance. They are out of their seat. Pritchard crosses the 20 and stands now put on his back. Ennis in front of Tapau to Eastwood. Now Reynolds. Josh Reynolds. Another Dog having a fantastic season. Eastwood twists and tries to keep his feet, but disappears beneath Matt Scott and Aaron Payne. Here's Tapau, the run around with Ennis. Out the back, quick hands. Barber has it. Can't get away from Morgan or Glenn Hall. Reynolds will kick across field. There are a couple of Dogs closing in. Up first towards the in goal. The offload comes now from Inu, and it's picked up by Gavin Cooper.
Well, the Cowboys survived their first assault on their line, and they handled the second man plays both on the left and the right quite comfortably. Nice job there to hold up Inu, who did a terrific job in traffic there to come up with the football from the Reynolds kick.
Thurston drifts across field and goes to Morgan, Bowen, and now Brent Tate, who straightened and was well tackled down around the boots by Joel Romolo. Glenn Hall, the offload to Thurston. Now he goes deep to Linnett. Linnett tries to shrug his way clear of Reynolds, but can't. Helped by Josh Jackson. Tamo. It's been an arm wrestle for the first 11 and a bit minutes. As Thurston stabs and finds Sam Perrott. One of the new dogs, along with Krisnan Inu, who've had immediate success as they've gone on this 8-game winning run. Reynolds running across field and getting away from a couple of defenders. The offload comes to Barber, up the middle, say bye-bye! Benny's gone in the blink of an eye! Josh Reynolds to Ben Barber, and straight away, one for the highlight reel.
And that's why the Bulldogs must be having their front door knocked down with people and rugby league fans wanting to become Bulldogs members, because this bloke is lighting up the NRL. And what about the work from the 5'8"? He's much more than just hustle and bustle and a great competitor. The ability to go in and away, and then Barber, his support play has been so good this year. He knows who to follow and just burst through the two Cowboys defenders. Great work here from Reynolds. Pushes off the Cowboy tackler, able to stand in the low tackle from Matt Bowen. And Morgan just couldn't go with Barber. How good is he?
It's a question we probably can't answer yet, because he's only in his 5th season of NRL. You'd really say his 3rd full season. Still developing, and that man, hasn't he developed in a hurry as well, Josh Reynolds? But Ben Barber has now scored in his last 5 games. He's now scored the first try of a game this season 7 times. 7 times he's been first across the line. And 7 in 9 home games now, the Dogs have scored first. As Krisnan Inu from in front, keeping them at nearly 70% this season. Gets this one up and over, 6-0 on the back of who else? Ben Barber.
A relatively short one for Ben Barber too. He only had to run 40 metres. But how exciting is he? Really, it had been an arm wrestle. You were right. The Dogs had been handled quite well by the Cowboys' defence, but just the individual brilliance of the 6 and 1.
Here's to Powell. Ennis to Pritchard. And they work it out now through Graham. Braithen Astor, how do you defend against Ben Barber?
Well, it's pretty tough. I was just about to compliment North Queensland defence in the first 10 minutes, but you just can't go to sleep on the Bulldogs. It starts with Josh Reynolds and it finishes with Barber. We've seen it so often this year.
Make it here.
Josh Jackson back to his feet, just short of halfway. They will come to Reynolds to kick. He goes towards the wing of Winterstein, who stumbles and now has the ball. A little heart flutter for Antonio as he comes across field and can't get away from a good chase from Jackson. Now Fi Law looking for work. Driven backwards by Romolo and Morris. Glenn Hall tries to give the Cowboys some go forward. It's been hard work early in this set. Matt Scott straight into the teeth of Tapau and Inu. 4 tackles down and they're at the 30-metre line.
Yeah, I can see that. You've locked him in, Matt.
Payne shoots out of acting half and catches Marty Tapau offside. He wasn't back to 10 at any stage, and Aaron Payne's experience spotted that.
Yeah, physical defensive set there by the Bulldogs. The Cowboys needed that. Momentum that the Dogs had off the back of the try, followed through with that set in defence. The penalty will give the Cowboys a chance to answer what we saw from Barber.
Marty Tapau involved in this tackle. He wasn't at marker. He was trying to get back to 10 and failed to do so. Well spotted by the Cowboys hooking out. Dallas Johnson up the middle, who runs into a solid shot. Was that a shoulder charge from Greg Eastwood? Now Thurston floating it out towards the wing of Winterstein. Winterstein gets within 4 metres. The offload to Bowen. Thurston. Now Tamo. Tackled by Graham and Eastwood.
1 foot hold. Go.
Payne to Thurston, who changes the side of the attack. Bowen along the ground. Brilliantly for Kane Linnett. Talk about form scorers from Barber to Linnett. Kane Linnett is making a habit of getting across the stripe late in this season, and it continues.
Well, we said the penalty would give them a chance to answer what Barber just did. And they certainly have done that. Matt Bowen, a nice crossfield grubber. It was a flat one. Looked like Chris Naninu was there waiting, and he was. Linnett was just too quick. Thurston switches the point of the attack to the left side. And he got a great bounce, Kane Linnett. He's been in some try-scoring form in recent weeks.
He's now scored in 5 of his last 6 games. Often on the charge as he runs a fantastic direct line. But just there it was his pace to get onto the kick.
Well, it was as good as a forward pass, wasn't it? Bowen knew that there was a little bit of space there. He knew if he timed it well enough and got the weight right, that he had the chasers coming through.
Thurston, 77% this season. He's kicked 53 from 69. This one very gettable for Jonathan Thurston, and he's got it. 6 all. An exciting start in the first 20. And we are locked up again. Let's go sideline, Braithen Astor.
What about the battle of the pocket dynamos at the back? It started with Ben Barber scoring the first try, and the second try for Matty Bowen's little kick. That's his 21st try assist for the season, more than Jonathan Thurston.
Bowen fields the kick-off and comes to Matt Scott.
Hayden Tolman on the field now. Marty Tapau removed after the Cowboys try.
Thurston out the back to Michael Morgan. He runs into Romolo. Joel Romolo playing for the Dogs at NRL level for the first time since round 10. He'll be fired up. He's fired up at the best of times, Joel Romolo. Let alone on return as Hall is stopped by Pritchard. Not before fighting his way over the halfway line on the last here for Bowen to kick. And split the men at the back. Perrott will get across and field the ball in his own in goal. He's grilled by Cooper and Linnett.
It's a good set off the back of points. 50 metres they made with the ball, and then the Matt Bowen kick split both winger and fullback to go into the in goal. It's exactly what you're looking for.
Make the line. Go.
Now Tolman. Here's a penalty.
Nick, don't get cute in the line like that, mate. No. I think you're doing your best to get yourself there.
The referees Shane Hayne and Jared Sutton. And the penalty count now 1-all.
Can't split these sides either from what they score off. 75 tries both scored coming into this game. and the most off penalties, 24 and 23 respectively.
The penalty for laying on the tackle player too long in the eyes of the referees. As Ennis dummies a couple of times out of acting half. The pass was over the sideline in front of Jonathan Wright. So not for the first time tonight the Dogs get it wrong on this left-hand attacking edge.
Yeah, the ball just out too far out in front of Jonathan Wright. Little set play there. Romolo going across field again. Even if the ball was taken by Jonathan Wright, there wasn't much room for him to work in. The completion rates certainly down from what we expect from the Bulldogs. 6 of 10. Cowboys a couple better.
Once he's in the hands of the trainers, we're going to go, guys. Okay, time back on, guys. Let's go, pack it in.
Dallas Johnson, the man receiving a bit of attention out the back of the scrum there.
Come on, get in. Get in.
The Dogs completed last week at 82%, so they're well down on that performance they came up with against Manly. And North Queensland at this stage above the 75% they found against West's Tigers. Over halfway they come. Payne to Linnett. Thurston to Morgan, who spots a hole, runs at it and almost comes through. He was held from behind by Pritchard and Romolo. Thurston along the ground for Tate and fight by Law. Barber is back there and now pushed back towards his in-goal somehow. He's stayed in the field of play long enough to get a penalty. A second effort in the eyes of Jared Sutton.
And I think that's right too, because I was just about to say Barber's done a remarkable job to stay in field there. Got to the ground very quickly, had his feet positioned towards the sideline so they couldn't drag him over, and it was that second effort as Pritchard takes it forward off the back of their second penalty.
Glenn Hall, get closer, Glenn Hall! Too deep, mate. You've got to get up
Another
close.
penalty, so piggybacking up the field, the Dogs.
Just see, Joel.
Romolo will shoot for the sideline.
With your foot, Josh.
Graham through Ennis, now Reynolds and Barber, who comes to Inu. Picked up and driven backwards. Heavy defence from Thurston and Linnett. Jackson made his starting debut against Manly after having a couple of games off the bench. He's been highly impressive during his Toyota Cup career. Josh Jackson, Dale Finucane, a couple of young forwards to watch. Now Graham giving it to Pritchard, who let it roll off the fingers towards Romolo, who was tackled by Glenn Hall. Graham again. So involved, as usual, James Graham, the last for Canterbury. Reynolds kicking towards the outside man, the back from Inu, picked up by Jackson, now to Barber. Barber will kick back towards the post, and it's taken by Michael Morgan. It was an ugly kick that could have been anything, and luckily for North Queensland, Michael Morgan was ready.
Yeah, it was like he didn't strike that one properly, Josh Reynolds. Like a golfer that hits a ball a little bit fat. It didn't reach the target, but Kristen and Inu's ability to get up in the air. 5-5 Law almost breaking through. Really neither side.
Just there, John.
Their discipline letting them down, neither side being able to put that much pressure on defensively.
And keen to take every centimetre of defensive advantage they can. The Dogs up in front of the 10.
Get straight, hold!
6-all, nearly 25 gone in the first half. Morgan to Ashton Sims.
David! David, get square!
You heard the contact as James Graham rushed up to meet him along with David Stagg. Now Morgan to Thurston, quick hands from Bowen on to Linnett. Now Winterstein's away. He comes to Barber over the top of Ben Barber, but not before Aidan Tolman is there to assist. Now Bowen to Dallas Johnson. 4 metres short. Bowen to Thurston. They change the angle of attack once again. Thurston looks around, loses it forward. It's in the hands of Ben Barber.
Well, great pressure there from Josh Reynolds. He knew the switch of play was on from Bowen back to the left-hand side to Thurston. He was in Thurston's face there. Thurston allowed the ball to bounce to ground. He still was able to pick it up and almost pulled off something, but the Dogs survived.
David Stagg has it. And a lot to go forward here for Canterbury is Gavin Cooper. Did some good defensive work. Now Aidan Tolman. Tackled by Payne and Johnson. The last here for the Dogs. It's Romolo kicking towards Bowen, who stands his ground, waits, gets the ball. And now he's greeted by Ennis and Reynolds.
In terms of the kicking game too, Chris Keating, who plays an important part, he's a good left footer, and that gives them the option of a kick either side of the ruck. Well, Romolo certainly fills the bill with a left foot kick on him. Cooper almost through there, a low tackle by Inu.
Payne to Linnett. He's tackled by Jackson and Reynolds.
Hold! Go!
Morgan dummies and now finds Thurston. On to Bowen. Long to Fi Law. Wright always had him covered, but the offload to Tate goes to ground. They went back in field trying to link up, and the last pass went astray.
Well, he beat a couple of players there, Fi Law. The pass to Tate, you could see him in support. He was on his way to the ground, or very close to the ground. He had one hand on the ground as he flicked it up with his right hand. Tate just not able to hold it.
Anthony Mitchell has just entered the action, and who better to comment than a former clubmate, Braithen Astor.
Yeah, got to say, I didn't see this coming. Seeing two players from my team not so long ago, and Semi Perrott and Ant Mitchell facing up against each other tonight. Good luck to the boys, and I hope they have a good season. And as I said, a little bit unusual, but as we can see, a break here, boys.
It's Jackson with no one in front of him. They converge now. It's Bowen, but the offload comes. He's away again. It's an automatic replay. Ben Barber in for his second. First running off Reynolds, now running off Jackson. 2 tries in 28 minutes for Ben Barber.
He's a freak. He is a freak. The moment he gets the ball,
So you want to check this?
you know it's going to be a 4-pointer. Unbelievable stuff there. Braithen Astor spoke earlier about he was just about to credit the Cowboys' defence, and they've handled the second man plays well. It's just the individual brilliance of these Dogs. They aren't one-dimensional. If there's not a way to score off their set plays, they come up with stuff like that. James Graham, who finds himself at 5'8" regularly, the footwork and his ability to put players in space, well, he's better than most front rowers in the game at doing that. Jackson into a hole, lovely pass. A couple of Cowboys had gone the wrong way. Ben Barber cuts back on the inside.
He does something to James Tomau as he goes past him.
So the video referee, Sean Hampstead, looking at this one. We're looking at some involvement of Mick Ennis making contact with James Tarmo. In the eyes of the referee, we are past it at this point. We think Josh Jackson will come back to him in a moment. This exciting young back rower. And Ben Barber thinks he has his 12th try in his last 10 matches now.
Well, if it's James Tarmo, I don't know what role he was going to play in stopping the try.
Well, Mick Ennis hasn't been near anyone, and James Tarmo is well clear.
Well, James Tarmo is on the 40-metre line now. If that is it, well, whatever happens, I don't think it really matters.
We'll check the grounding now. They've deemed there is nothing that does matter in the lead up to that try, and the grounding as good as it gets. Sean Hampstead will hit the green button. There is the green light. A second for Ben Barber, and the lead back to Canterbury.
he just knows where to be. There's Sam Cassiano, the swollen left eye, fractured eye socket. Chris Keating next to him.
Another simple shot coming for Krishnanu. We've spoken extensively about Ben Barber, but what about Josh Jackson? Made his debut against Melbourne in Mackay, played a couple of games off the bench, ran on against Manly, and here he is again running on tonight into a big hole to send Barber away. He and Finucane, products of this under-20 system that is being driven at Canterbury by Andy Patmore, as is Ben Barber, of course. Inu up and over. Sideline Braithen Astor, half a chance. He makes you pay.
He's unbelievable. His support play is absolutely immaculate. He's always on the spot every time. And Glenn Hall, guys, hurt his shoulder in a tackle earlier, was taken straight off the field. They checked him. He's gone up the tunnel now. Hopefully it's a burner. Could be more serious injuries.
The ball from Graham was just beautiful, wasn't it? The footwork and his ability to create space for his outside men. That's why Desi stands him at 5'8". Every now and then he'll be able to produce something like that, sucking in 2 Cowboys to put Jackson away.
He's skillful, but his work rate is outstanding as well. Just to give you an indication, here are his stats from the last game against Manly. 56 minutes, James Graham. 16 runs, 125 metres he's averaging this season. 32 tackles he's averaging. Here he is. Aidan Tolman gives it. Dennis towards Romolo, who drives it very, very long, way out on the full, over the dead ball line.
Oh, that's no doubt done on purpose either. That wasn't a miss hit by Joel Romolo. That has taken Matt Bowen out of the equation. It'll be interesting to see how many times they do that. He put that dead by 30 metres. Paid plenty of respect there to Matt Bowen. Part of the tactics from the Dogs.
JB Sportsbet ran a special involving the 2 fullbacks, Bowen and Barber. They called it BB Gun, $2.50 for more than 1.5 tries from those 2 players combined. You're already a winner if you've taken that special. And you've still got the best part of 50 minutes to play. Tamo across halfway. Thurston keeps it low, kicking towards the southwestern corner. And now Barber has it, gets between the first 2 chasers and was pulled down from behind by Scott Bolton. Now Morris.
By the jersey, he got him too. Barber almost through again. And Matt Bowen in front of him. That was about it.
I almost wish that Bolton missed so we could have seen Barber and Bowen toe-to-toe. But he's seen Matt Bowen run down the likes of Kevin Locke and Sean Johnson. I'm not convinced he wouldn't get to Ben Barber either. Maybe before this game is done, we'll see them head-to-head. Here's a kick almost troubling Matty Bowen. Reynolds affects the tackle after he had to dive on the ball.
Gee, that was great play. Josh Reynolds knows how dangerous Matt Bowen is. He kicked the ball and chased. He realised it wasn't a great kick, wasn't deep enough. Made sure he was there to stop Matt Bowen going anywhere.
Here's Linnett. After the earlier run from Ashton Sims. Now Dallas Johnson. Drifting into a tackle that slipped high from Frank Pritchard. Plays allowed to continue. And now Bowen kicks. It's a wobbly old bomb taken by Perrotwell, and he immediately heads towards the eastern sideline before being tackled by Linnett. Stopped by Cooper and Thurston. Now Jackson.
That was slow. There was a number of Cowboys. There was 4 in the tackle. but just no movement from the last two, or certainly not quick enough. The referee's reacted. Again, Reynolds finds touch. They're inside the 40 to start their set.
Here's Tolman. Part of Des Hasler's success has been his ability to keep his players on the field. 9 of the Dogs in this lineup today have played every game. Inu. Ball back to Perrott, who loses it backwards. It's back to the 20-metre line. Now Graham, again threatening to give it, instead running through the defensive line. Stop 5 metres short. 3 plays left for the Dogs. Stagg to Ennis. Out the back to Romolo. Brent Tate raced up and made a fantastic one-on-one tackle. Ennis to Stagg again. Stagg straightens and works his way within a couple of metres. The last play now. Ennis from acting half. Finds Reynolds, kicking across field. Through, looking for the ball. It was Inu coming down with it. Hang on, we'll have a look. This could be a try for Krishnan Inu.
Last tackle, contest.
It is looking like it.
And onside.
Krishnan Inu, the target for all the kicks from Josh Reynolds to that right side. He's hobbling a bit, Inu. He's terrific in the air. Onside. Comfortably onside. Inu just looks like he rips it out of the hand of the Cowboy who's underneath. It's Kane Linnett. Gets a better grab on it, but Inu with momentum favouring him. There's that ball. It's somewhere.
I think he loses it.
Well, I think it's coming free, but he's able to somehow keep his arm or get an arm to it when it goes to ground.
He took an eternity to find the ground, and by then I think the ball had come free.
There's Linnett's hand in there doing his best. Oh, no,
that wonderful word, separation.
Well,
I don't think he has control, but I don't think there's any separation.
Yeah, no control, but that doesn't matter. So we're looking at no separation. I think he was able to keep some part of his arm on the football as it touched the ground, which would constitute a try. Linnett does a job to get his hand in between the ball and Inu, but does his arm go over the top of it? It's hard to tell from that angle. I thought that the previous angle gave us a better look at it. I couldn't give it from that angle because I can't see exactly what happens. But from the previous angle, I thought it was a try. I thought he kept some part of his arm on the ball.
Sean Hampstead goes with benefit of the doubts. Krishnan Inu gets Canterbury's 3rd try of the game. Losing control, but not any separation between ball and arm in the eyes of Sean Hampstead, or not enough to convince him that he didn't score, and as a result, it is benefit of the doubt.
Well, the penalty was the start of the set. They were able to start it inside the Dogs' 40. And after, again, the Cowboys handled them quite well in defence, it was James Graham who slipped through the Cowboys' defence. What a game the front row is having in his only starting game of the year. He's playing like a 100-kilo halfback, dummying his way through the line. That gave them the field position for that crossfield kick. Vertically, Inu's got it over the Cowboys in the air.
Now 8 tries for the Dogs in 8 games since coming to Belmore for Krishnan Inu, trying to convert his own try. Braithen Astor, is there any Bulldog who is not in try-scoring form?
No, they're all screaming down here, and that comes down to patience and persistence. Reynolds has relentlessly been kicking the ball to the right-hand side to try and find Inu, and he finally did. Great try.
It's a 12-point deficit now for North Queensland. Off towards Romolo was tricky. It floated through the air without spinning and then took a mean bounce, but he did well to keep control.
Yours, mate.
And control is lost here. It was Aidan Tolman. The ball just spat out as he grabbed for the pass.
Well, they might be in front 18-6, but it's been far from perfect from the Dogs. The 5th mistake of the half. The Cowboys a great position to finish the opening 40 minutes with some momentum.
Ben, you stay in there too, mate. Ben, stay in there till it's
A clear majority of the meetings between these two sides have been decided by 12 points or less. They are often tight. And it might be about to get a bit tighter as Bowen runs at Inu. He makes a good tackle. Now Linnet can't get away. A diving tackle from Innes. Here's Matt Scott. Straight into Graham, who goes for a ride as Scott continues to go forward, eventually forced back by Tolman's presence up high. Mitchell to Morgan. Now Thurston. Long, he was looking for fight by law, instead found the fingertips of Jonathan Wright, who almost took an intercept and raced away.
Well, they'd made 3 tackles.
Watch Ben Barber at the back for a ski.
He took the odds to it there, Jonathan Wright.
Yeah.
Found himself in field with 5-5 Law on the outside. He didn't want the pass to reach the Cowboy winger.
Form up. You just worry about forming up, mate. You blokes are stalling. Let's go. Head in, Ben. Head down. All the way in, Ben. Bind tight, Ben. Take your loose, Cowboys. Feed.
He's got to lead. He's leading for him.
Out.
To the short side they come. Thurston. With 11 metres out. Mitchell to Scott. And here's a charging Ashton Sims. Morgan loses the ball as he tried to change direction. He was heading off to his right while the ball was still going left, and the result is a let off for Canterbury.
Well, 3 or 4 times they've done this and they've had success with the switch of play. Thurston was parked on the right side. Michael Morgan just got ahead of himself.
So the Dogs for the second time told to hurry up and form the scrum. They're quite happy to see the seconds tick away. Bearing down on half-time, up by 12. They're in no rush.
Yeah.
If there's another scrum, I'm sure the referees will keep a very close eye and maybe reach for the whistle. Here's Morris. We've seen Barber and Inu and commented on their try scoring. Well, Josh Morris, the main man in the NRL when it comes to scoring tries, 16 so far on top of the Pops. Will he get his turn in the second half? Graham to Reynolds. Now Inu to Thurston. He slings him to the grass. And appealed for a penalty. Instead it's Sam Perrott ducking and weaving. Reynolds with the kick, rolling it down towards the northeastern corner where it's watched by Matt Bowen over the sideline.
Now it'll be the Cowboys' turn to slow it down. They'll be happy to go to the half-time break without packing this scrum.
Matty Bowen races in to serve as lock, and we have time blown off now with 30 seconds up their sleeve. They shouldn't give up yet. They've scored from 50 metres plus 9 times this season, North Queensland. That's what they'll have to do here in the last 20 seconds and a bit. Bolton. Thurston off the hands of Canterbury Bankstown and over the sideline. There's seconds to play in the first half. That should be it. There it is. The scrum doesn't pack. Shane Haynes says we've had enough for the first 40 minutes. And it is Canterbury on track for a 9th straight victory. Braithen Astor.
we come here tonight with such high expectations. The Canterbury certainly have delivered. 2 tries to the brilliant Barber and another try to Inu in the right-hand corner. Gives them a 12-point lead heading into the second half. Can the Cowboys come back? I think they can.
Well, that man, Ben Barber, finished 2011 with 4 tries in round 26. He has 2 in the first half tonight. What's in store in the second half? Stay with us. You're watching Bundaberg Super Saturday. A break and back to wrap up the first half. But for the time being, it's the Dogs with a few final moments beneath the grandstand here at the Olympic Stadium. First back out, North Queensland, having won their last 2 against the Tigers and Melbourne. They'd love a third big scalp, but Greg Alexander, they will require a big second half comeback.
They will, the Cowboys. There's a couple of things for them to fix up. Their ball control wasn't perfect, and they'll need to be against the Dogs in this second half. Jonathan Thurston will contain by the Dogs' defence. We'll see if he can find some space. Second 40 minutes.
He loves this. Meeting the kids. His team is down by 12, but he still has time and a smile for the next generation of rugby league stars. It is a feature of Jonathan Thurston these days, and a wonderful side of this star 5/8. Cowboys back up in the second half. Now the Dogs. Matty Bowen has had the challenge thrown out to him by his opposite fullback, an opposite Big B, Barber. He has 2. Can Matty Bowen score his first try since round 11? He hasn't got into the in goal with ball in hand for a try in recent weeks, but gee, he's been good, setting them up, gapping the defence, running down attackers. He's done it all except score tries, and maybe in the second half he can get back on the try-scoring sheet. The man of the moment. Is he racing towards the 2012 Dally M medal? Ben Barber, 2 tries, 8 runs, 148 metres in the first half alone. Frank Pritchard. Looking forward to more action. And Glenn Hall, who was forced off in the first half with a shoulder injury. Hopefully for his sake it was just a burner. We'll get a full update from Braith and Astor shortly. But it is the Dogs with first use of the football in the second half. Leading 18-6. They have won 11 of their 13 games when they've led at the break this season. The only time the opposition has come back to beat them, Manly and the Gold Coast. Can North Queensland add their title to that list? They themselves have struggled when trailing at the break, having won just 1 from 8. That was when they were beaten, or came back to beat Penrith in round 11. An early movement here from the Dogs. Reynolds takes a tackle from Linnett. Now Tolman.
Scott, come on, get out. Scott, hold, go.
Here's the completion of the first set. After half-time, it is Reynolds kicking down the middle.
Give 10, Joel.
Finding grass between Bowen and Fi Law, who has it now. And he is stopped 18 metres out from his own goal line.
Hold the 10. Hold. James.
Let's go sideline, Braith and Astor.
Yeah, Desi was extremely happy at half-time. Obviously wants his team to maintain the pressure and be relentless in attack and in defence. A little bit clumsy, so he wants them to be a little bit more disciplined in that department. And also for the Cowboys, errors. Errors was a big thing in the first half, making sure they complete their sets of 6. And as Desi said, complete their sets of 6 as well. And as you can see here, another error, which is compounding and making it hard for the Cowboys.
Well, as you said it, Braith, complete your sets. The Cowboys couldn't. The ball lost by Kane Linnett, handing possession to Canterbury in enemy territory. This is Tolman. Struck by Sims and Matt Scott.
Hold, Scott, hold, go.
Ennis out of acting half. Through Romolo, Pritchard's inside ball finds Barber. He gets the ball back to Frank Pritchard. Pritchard tries to bump his way over the top of Ant Mitchell, who held on long enough to bring the bigger man to ground. Graham
offload.
An offload to Stagg, who looked to go again. The ball on the ground and dived on by North Queensland.
Well, they're under pressure. Yep, fourth tackle there. James Graham, the sidestep, created some space on the inside for David Stagg. Pass probably didn't need to be thrown. Still had a couple up their sleeve.
Josh Jackson, clear this one.
Mitchell to the short side. Gavin Cooper. And now Antonio Winterstein. The last here for North Queensland. And it comes to Thurston. He goes along the ground, up the middle. And Sam Perrott goes backwards to go forwards, but there's not much go forward. Michael Morgan taking his legs from under him.
Strange kick there from Jonathan Thurston, really not deep enough, giving the Dogs quite a good start to their set. Field position, odd decision.
Pritchard looks in the mood to party. A one-handed carry. He was looking to offload it, basketball style. And now Jackson straightens just past the 40-metre line of North Queensland. Graham giving it again to Tolman. They call them the Booper brothers affectionately at Canterbury. And they play some good football together for the Dogs as Romolo goes high. It will come down about 10 metres out and taking it safely. It was Khalifa Fai Law. Now Brent Tate giving it and going long to Antonio Winterstein. Winterstein running and collared by Reynolds. Josh Reynolds was there. But still North Queensland, with some enterprise, quickly find themselves in Canterbury's half. Thurston behind Scott to Morgan. And he's dragged to ground by Pritchard and Ennis. Mitchell out of acting half. Calling Sims to straighten. And he's tackled by Tolman and Graham. The last, and it comes to Thurston, stabbing it towards the corner, wanting it to pull up in the end goal. It was a close call for Sam Perrott.
Well, it did always look like it was going dead. Sam Perrott did a good job just to slide into the ball and allow it to go over the dead ball line, taking their time, the Dogs. Two Jonathan Thurston kicks that haven't been his best.
Here's Josh Jackson. 25 metres out. Playing it for Ennis. Now Tolman giving it under pressure. It was David Stagg. Bolton rushed up. Now Graham giving it again to Romolo. Should he be wearing number 6, James Graham? He's playing like a 5/8 this evening. This one's under the arm and straight. What an asset for Des Hasler. Reynolds kicks from inside his 40. Taken on the full by Matty Bowen. Skipping and trying to find a hole. Still going, Matty Bowen. Now he'll look to link up. The offload comes to Morgan. Morgan to halfway. Matty Bowen puts North Queensland on the front foot. Tate couldn't get away from acting half, and the ball's been stripped. Lost forward by Canterbury as the ball was stripped by Morris.
Yeah, Morris read it well. Brent Tate, he had a dummy half looking to capitalise on the good start from Matt Bowens. Just breezing across the field, wasn't he? Across the face of the Bulldogs defenders. He did it on Monday night against the Tigers. The footwork is great to watch. Morgan takes the tackle. It's a relatively quick play, the ball, but Josh Morris all over Tate.
Thurston to Gavin Cooper. And he runs into Jackson and Ennis and David Stagg. Minor head clash between Jackson and Stagg. No damage done, and it's Ant Mitchell standing in the tackle and drawing a third defender. It was Michael Ennis coming in. Johnson to Matt Scott. He heads back towards centre field. Some spirited runs early in this set from North Queensland, putting them right on the attack. Morgan to Thurston out the back. Bowen can't get away from Josh Morris. Well read in the centres for Canterbury.
Don't go early. Josh Arnold's out wide. Go.
Thurston to Sims. The offload. Back to Ant Mitchell, who came to Cooper and sweating on him. Chris Mininu, one-on-one, drives the Cowboy into the turf. Thurston has to rush his kick, shipping it towards the corner. Barber slipped, and it was Antonio Winterstein making him pay.
One last tackle.
We're going to check the grounding, but Jonathan Thurston's kick, after a couple of ordinary ones, looks like it will pay dividends. He's questioning the referee.
That's all right. Okay, yes, we are checking everything, right? We will check that.
Thurston, pressure again from the Bulldogs. That contact looks all right. Michael Ennis was the man. Just the chip over the defensive line. Winterstein around and behind Ben Barber. Did he get it down? Yes, he certainly did. The bounce of the ball beating Benny Barber and favouring the Cowboys.
Benny Barber's feet were almost too fast for him then. They were moving before they had traction. He slipped. He was left stranded, and Antonio Winterstein brings up the green lights. Try for North Queensland. A big boost for the visitors, scoring first in the second half. And Jonathan Thurston will kick to make the difference, a converted try.
Well, in that set, tackle 4 and 5, the Cowboys lost 15 metres. A big tackle on the left side of the field by Josh Morris on Matt Bowen. They then shifted to the other side of the field, and it was a great tackle, Chris Naninu on Gavin Cooper.
Thurston successful with his first attempt at goal. Again, he kicks from his preferred side. Trying to arc this one back towards the posts at all time and through. And 18-12 would really set us up with just over half an hour to play. Ben Barber has been so good at diffusing tries this year, but that one got away on him. As a result, Jonathan Thurston will try to convert. Slipping as he kicks the ball, but he can do it all. He slips on impact and steers it straight over the black dot. How important that converted try for North Queensland, Braithen Astor.
I think it could be very important. What a kick from Jonathan Thurston. Well, it wasn't the most well-executed, kick for goal, but also a try for in the corner here from the Cowboys, but it's exactly what they needed. They needed to score first. They need some momentum, and that could start them off here in the second half.
He needs to slip over every time. It couldn't have been a more perfect kick. Matty Scott will get them going again. Runs into some contacts. Finucane and Ennis, the tacklers, and Matt Scott found himself on his back, as does Ashton Sims. They've gone up a notch now, Canterbury, defensively. And this is Bolton. Mitchell getting away. Not by enough to go forward any further. Now Bowen will kick from inside the 40. The Dogs were screaming at Benny Barber to get across and cut it off. He does, and comes to Jonathan Wright.
Yeah, early call from his teammates just to let him know that Matt Bowen was inside the 40. Covered things well.
Bowen has kicked 2 40-20s already this season. The Dogs no doubt aware of his ability in that department. And here's Sam Perrott.
Hold it. Go.
Finucane. And Ennis out of acting half. Trying to catch them unaware. He took 10 and a bit metres the last here for Canterbury, and it's Reynolds to kick. Underneath it, Antonio Winterstein has time. A safe take. And then a tackle from Finucane, who's made his presence felt since coming off the interchange. Thurston will play it. Here's Linnett. Good battle between the two fours, Inu and Linnett. Now, Dallas Johnson has it in back play. There was a Cowboy tackle on suspicion. It was Anthony Mitchell.
It was Christian Inu, the man that took him out. All fired up after his big shot there on Kane Linnett. Continued it.
The last for the Cowboys, and it will come to Thurston to kick. They'll go with the torpedo. The punt upfield is never high enough to be called a bomb, and Jonathan Wright returns.
Hold the line, go.
Now it comes to Morris, and Morris gets away down the eastern sideline. Bowen in cover, but Morris goes to 17 for the season, does he? Bowen got there. Morris tuggled into the end goal.
Sideline grounding.
And we will have to go upstairs to Sean Hampstead to sign off on this one.
Well, I can't tell. He looked like he was getting there for all money. Josh Morris, Matt Bowen, who have spoken. How many tries does he save? He's still in the field of play. Oh, I think he gets that right knee. The right knee goes down. Remarkably, he's in, he stays in, he's still in there. The foot comes down, and it's the right knee that slides across the line, and he actually puts the ball down on his foot and then puts it down, but by that time, he's dead in goal.
Brent Tate had a good look at it in back play, but what a chase from Matt Bowen. I'd given up on him. I thought he was no chance to get there, but he found
Just
his
watch
best
that
goal.
knee. There it is, the knee.
Yep.
Gee. Tell you what, the ball was pretty close to the ground too when that knee slid across.
Here's the decision, no try. Sean Hampstead denying Josh Morris in conjunction with Matty Bowen.
Oh, that could save the game for the Cowboys. That could be a game saver, not just a try saver. Josh Morris out of dummy half, around 5'5" law. When he got past the ankle tap from Brent Tate, you thought it was all over. And Matt Bowen, as he's done 1,000 times, just gets there.
Let's do our sums on Barber and Bowen. Benny Barber scored 2 and maybe cost 1 with a slip. Now Matty Bowen saved 1. Is it 1 all in some strange way?
That's as good as scoring one, that tackle.
Aren't they exciting? The 2 men wearing 1. And Matt Scott doing some hard work up the middle. To the short side, Johnson to Cooper. Gavin Cooper finds himself just in Canterbury territory. Mitchell to Scott, giving it to Thurston. Bowen again. Across field, the ball was behind Fifi Law, who did very well to dive backwards, take the ball and get back to his feet quickly. But this is the last for North Queensland. Thurston keeps this kick low, and it goes straight to Ben Bowen, bouncing up off his chest. It was Ben Barber.
And it's the pressure from the Dogs that's forcing the style of kick Jonathan Thurston puts in. Really had no other option but the Dogs in his face to just punch that one through the defensive line. And they haven't let up all night.
Anthony Mitchell, too early.
Tolman takes a tackle from Bolton and Morgan. And now Finucane with an offload, back to Tolman. Quick hands from Romolo, and now it's Morris able to run. On halfway, he's tackled by Scott, Bolton, and Fifi Law. Pritchard now. At the back to Eastwood. He finds Reynolds, dummying to Barber, and heading towards a hole. Gavin Cooper did a vital job defensively. The last here for Canterbury. It comes to Barber. He goes high towards Bowen, who will watch it go out on the full.
Use your foot,
Another mistake from the Dogs. Just to keep the Cowboys ticking over.
Who is going to be first to 20 points in this game? That seems to be the magic number for both of these teams. Canterbury have won 13 from 13 when scoring 20 or more. The Cowboys have won 10 from 10 when going 2 or past that mark. 20 points just beyond Canterbury, 8 clear of North Queensland. Anthony Mitchell over the 30. Morgan goes to Thurston, dummy to Bowen inside and ran into a jolt who was knocked to ground, and Romolo right on top of him. Bowen kicking now, high above the Olympic Stadium and marked in goal by Sam Perrott.
Well, the speed of the Dogs' line is extraordinary. At this stage of the game, the defensive line, again up in the face.
Reynolds takes a tackle from Ashton Sims. It's Ricky Thorby on for North Queensland. Inu getting clear of one tackle from Linnet. This one. Thorby and Riverstone. Stagg through for Newcomb, now Barber. Quick hand from Romolo. To read the play well, Brent Tate on Josh Morris. Tolman, a flick offload, back to Morris. Dallas Johnson involved defensively again.
James!
Romolo along the ground and over the eastern sideline.
Yeah, right here, mate.
Just over 20 to play, a converted try the difference.
Anthony, one of your blokes is held up.
No rush to get back and form the scrum.
You can't push your defenders off. Right, you can put your hands on your bloke. Yeah, on your own player, but just don't push them off.
And very close to the heel of Brent Tate.
Yep.
If you think I'm saying Dallas Johnson's name a lot defensively, he's up to 34 tackles for the game. That is a game high. He's celebrating game 200 with another big defensive display. Tamo. James Tamo almost away. Held just by Reynolds. What a run, James Tamo. Mitchell. Stopping and coming back the other way to Johnson. He straightens, gets to halfway. 3 plays left for the Cowboys. Thurston to Ricky Thorby. Thorby! And Mitchell to Morgan, who accelerates, gets away, still going. Michael Morgan! Pulled down 4 metres short. It was David Stagg. Here's Thurston to Bowen. Quick hands to ground. Picked up by Winterstein. He kicks into the in goal. Barber is there and back to safety in the blink of an eye.
He went to the wrong man there, Winterstein. He thought Barber might have pushed it back to Romolo, who was in the in goal area with him. A near thing there for the Dogs. Some great charges there. Tamo got the set started beautifully. Ricky Thorby and Michael Morgan.
Now Pritchard has it for Canterbury.
Frank, you've got a jersey. Frank's got the jersey.
Eastwood accelerates.
Forward, James, up.
Tackled by Cooper and Tamo. This is for Newcomb.
Forward, Scott Bolton. Here we are.
The last here, and they're yet to find the 40. The kick will come from Romolo. The call was inside, but it won't go near the sideline. It will almost roll in the goal. In fact, it's carried there by Fi Law, who returns and runs into a shoulder from Reynolds. He bounced away and fights to get back to his feet now. Winterstein. It was a game of chicken, that run between Fi Law and another attempted charge from Reynolds. He's a man inspired. He doesn't want the shoulder charge banned. No, he wants to get a couple of wide before it is. Here's Thurston stepping, dummying, and almost getting clear. Pulled down by Pritchard, but not before he finds Matty Bowen. Barber stopped him. Now Bowen links with Linnett. He slips, and it's easy prey for Sam Perrott. Well, Bowen made a break, and Benny Barber was sweating on him. Now Thurston chipping back towards the direction from where he came, and Barber has it.
They didn't have much energy on this side of the field. A little chip back from Jonathan Thurston, but what a combination they are. Thurston and Bowen. Thurston facing one way, just knowing Bowen was going to be there. The no-look pass.
Jonathan Wright. Now Aidan Tolman, has this game gone up a level in the last few minutes? Into the final 20. The last now for Canterbury. Ahead by 6 points. And it's Inu kicking this time. And Inu kicking out on the full.
Well, that's twice this half they've put them out in the full. Their kicking game has struggled in the second half.
Braithen Astor, has the tempo gone up a notch?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's been a momentum shift in the game in the last 5 to 10 minutes for the Cowboys. They've regained the momentum here. They find themselves only 6 points behind, and the Dogs have pretty much been on top for the most of the match, so big opportunity here.
Aaron Payne hurries into acting half as Corey Payne comes on for Canterbury. There's James Graham stopping the Cowboys on the spot. Thurston dummying. Jonathan Thurston! The drought is over! In round 21, he gets across. And North Queensland celebrates with him.
Just when you think you've done a good job on Jonathan Thurston, that's what he can do. The last 2 times he's had the ball, he's thrown the dummy and snuck through himself. The first time, the pass to Bowen. This time, all the defenders go with his support play, and he straightens up to score a try. The Dogs have done a great job so far on him. Michael Innes missing after he steps back on field. Back in field. They've been in his face all night. We haven't actually seen too many dummies from Jonathan Thurston. But the one time you go to sleep and worry about his outside men, he hurts you. He's a great player, Thurston. That instinctive dummy.
And here he is trying to convert his own try. He hadn't scored a try in his past 18 matches, the longest try-scoring drought of his career. The last try was right here against South Sydney, round 24 last season. And in round 21 this year, he's back on the try-scoring sheet and kicking to lock us up at 18 all. Jonathan Thurston, 3 from 3. It is 18 playing 18, Braithen Astor.
Well, it'd have to be a dead heat between Thurston and Bowen for the best dummy, not only in the Cowboys, but in the whole competition. With that dummy then, Thurston beat Stagg and Innes to score a brilliant try. Well done.
It might be a big night for Jonathan Thurston. Victory will be his 100th NRL victory. And a try to boot. Got some work to do. Back from 18-6 down at half-time. We are locked up. And it is the visitors with all the momentum. Thorby. Not for the first time this season, very strong off the bench. Morgan gives it to Bolton. Thurston kicks. Set up on its point for Barber. Without threatening the sideline, and now the man who scored the first 2 tries of the game is tackled 12 out from his own in goal.
Plenty of energy there from the Cowboys. Good chase, Thurston leading it after he kicked the ball. A line of 12 Cowboys to meet Ben Barber.
This is Sam Perrott. James Graham Here's Corey Payne. And Romolo will kick right on top of halfway. And finds Fi Law, who tries to link with Bowen midfield and does. Matty Bowen still going. He faced James Graham and fell at his feet. Matty Bowen coming to life in the second half after Ben Barber shone in the first. And Corey Payne, who's just on for the Dogs, referred to Matt Bowen this week as the original Ben Barber. A compliment for both players, I'm sure. Aaron Payne back to Tamo. And Tamo from a flat-footed start gets the ball back to Aaron Payne. Dummies and goes into James Graham and Corey Payne. Thurston to Morgan. He was wrapped up by Pritchard but got the ball to Bolton. He's 16 short the last now for North Queensland. Bowen into acting half. Goes to Thurston. He kicks across field, looking for a flyer. The ball is down and away with it. Josh Reynolds. Barber is longing. Reynolds puts a skip on and doubles back. Considering his option and taking a tackle from Jonathan Thurston.
Well, they got lucky there and they got the bounce, the Bulldogs. The offloads are hurting them. Graham.
Ennis. With Jonathan Wright doing some work centre field. Ennis out of acting half to Stagg. Back to his captain, Michael Ennis.
Well, he looked right there and it was Josh Reynolds who's out on his feet.
Here he is now, unable to avoid the ball any longer, and he was a sitting duck for Scott Bolton. A couple of Dogs look dusty at the moment, energy-wise, as Romolo goes to Bowen, chipping on the spot, back there, Fi Law, an unkind bounce, and Matt Bowen had to slap at the ball. They'll give Canterbury another set deep in opposition territory. A key set coming.
Well, Matt Bowen, the ball bounced terribly for Fi Law, back over his head. Matt Bowen didn't want to risk a bulldog, and there was three of them there coming up with the footy, but he will give them another set.
Both teams taking a long while to pack the scrum.
Matty, get in there! Boys.
Here they come. James Graham with it, running and giving it out the back. Josh Reynolds! They were shot to ribbons! The North Queensland Cowboys. And the Dogs may rue that. Now Ennis. 2 metres short Canterbury. David Stagg back to Graham, who loses his footing. 3 tackles down. And now we have a concern for the Englishman.
He's tried to put a step on Dallas Johnson there, James Graham.
Put it on the line, boys. That's 3.
Ankle or a knee.
Here they come, Romolo. Barber, Morris with a fend on Tate, who gets in the second time.
Hold! Go!
Jackson. Works play within 3 metres and loses the ball. Penalty.
That's a huge call.
The referees have ruled there's more than one man in the tackle, and the ball was...
Yeah, I just wonder whether he lost the ball or whether it was a genuine strip from the Cowboys. Plenty of times they get this wrong. Here's the try, and really, Josh Reynolds, who's had a great game, he passes the ball here to Sam Perrin. He scores. He scores a try. He threw the dummy, took the tackle, and the Cowboys were able to defend it. They've coughed up a penalty late in the count.
Brayton Astor, that penalty could be key. Was it ruled an illegal strip?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a blessing in disguise for the Bulldogs. They looked really tired and out in their feet, in particular Josh Reynolds and their forwards. We mentioned earlier about the momentum shift to the Cowboys. They were on top, but this could change that.
Chris Ninu has nailed 3 from 3 this evening. This to send Canterbury back to the lead with 10 minutes to play. Inu puts it straight over the crossbar. It is 20 to 18, the magic figure for the Dogs in 2012. They haven't scored 20 this year and been beaten. But there is time for the Cowboys, who have proven they can fight back already. James Graham falls into a tackle from Bolton. Now Jackson. Ennis goes to Corey Payne. Thought about an offload. Succumbs to the tackle. Now it is Finucane giving it to Reynolds. He goes to Inu. Inside Thurston. Kane Linnett is there to assist defensively and complete the tackle. Stagg crosses halfway. Tackled by Payne and Matt Scott, the last for the home team. It's Romolo kicking off his left foot. Fi Law is there. What sort of return will we see this time? An early step, then a jink in the air.
No, they got that set right, the Bulldogs. Worked themselves over halfway. Good little shift to the right with Chris Ninu making plenty of ground. Then Romolo, even though it was on the full, it was try line kick.
Scott goes to Bowen. Down Morgan. It was dropped on the spot. A tackle from Romolo. And now a mistake. A rare mistake from Jonathan Thurston.
Momentum hadn't have shifted after the penalty goal. It will after this. A mistake inside the Cowboys' half. The ball just coming quickly to Thurston. He wasn't prepared for it. Not often a Bowen pass to Thurston goes to ground.
Heads down. Matty Bowen's arms. Wait, Joel. Matty, get the arm around Matty. Head in, Mick.
No team scores more points in the final 20 minutes of games this season than North Queensland. That will give their supporters some hope with time still on the clock. 7.5 to play. For the time being, it's all defence. A converted try would surely be a killer blow for the Dogs. As Inu takes a tackle from Linnett and Thurston. Now Stagg. Stopped by Johnson and Payne. Within the 20 they come. It's Corey Payne giving it to Romolo. Now Benny Barber stopping and taking a tackle from Michael Morgan. Twisting and turning and tackled by Scott the last now for Canterbury. It's Reynolds chipping towards Inu, up and having it, Linnett.
Well, a couple of kicks he hasn't got on the spot, but he did that one. He didn't want to kick that one into the in goal. He kept it short of the try line. Forced the Cowboys to run it out of their own end. 2 tackles on the 10.
Tamo, another good run, but needing support. Aaron Payne shoots down the short side. Thought about giving it. Cooper to Thurston. Now Scott runs into Michael Ennis. Graham and Corey Payne. This is the last. Thurston goes to Bowen. He tries a chip and a chase. Runs into the back of Frank Pritchard. fell down looking for a penalty, but I don't think there was anything illegal in that.
Well, it was another juggle there from Jonathan Thurston. All he could do was push the ball back to Matt Bowen, who had no other option just to get his foot to the ball. Plenty of Bulldogs covering the chip kick.
Pritchard was just turning and chasing the ball, not changing his direction to impede the run from Bowen, so the referee's getting that spot on. As Ennis goes to Romolo, now Barber. This is Inu. Just over 5 to play, 2 the difference, the Dogs. Within sight of 9 straight, Graham flicking it to Ennis. Now Pritchard. He twists and comes again. Frank Pritchard tackled on the 10-metre line. Here's the last. A kick from Reynolds goes towards the end goal and stripped for the second time tonight. Leonard looks at Perrott and Perrott comes up celebrating. Sam Perrott, a thief in the night, through the air, down with the ball, and the Dogs go ahead by 6.
Very similar to Chris Ninu's try in the first half. Josh Reynolds on the try line. Kane Linnett, the player that's trying to diffuse things for the Cowboys. It's very hard when momentum isn't with you, and it was with Sam Perrott. Just ripped it out of the hands of Linnett. As we go inside the final 5, or 4 minutes to go, the Dogs, if they kick this, will wrap it up.
And take a massive step towards a $100,000 payday as 2012 minor premiers. Des Hasler won't like me saying that, but they're going to take some running down with a 4-point buffer on top of the table. With just 5 games to come after this one. Next Saturday they go on to Newcastle, then it's Brisbane, the Tigers, Canberra and Sydney City to finish them off.
Well, they put a couple out on the full in this second half. But the last 2 kicks from Josh Reynolds have been on the spot.
Inu came into this game having kicked 12 of his last 16. He's 4 from 4 tonight. There's a touch of class about everything Canterbury is doing at the moment. Curling this one around and over. It is an 8-point ball game. With less than 3 to play, the Dogs will make it 9 straight surely. Short kick-off from Thurston with a penalty to the Dogs because North Queensland was in front of halfway.
James Tamo, the man penalised. The word from
We've got to have the touch judges back and in position.
the referee. Jonathan Thurston asked the question.
You on, mate? Yeah.
Shade in front of Thurston as he went for the short kick-off, and now Inu will play it on the 10-metre line. Are there more points coming for Canterbury? They are in the mood to celebrate now. Ennis to Romolo, who straightens, and Romolo works his way within 3 or 4 metres. Still 4 plays up their sleeve, and Romolo slow back to his feet. Ennis dummies flat, goes deep, and here's Jackson flicking the ball to Ben Barber for 3! There's the icing! Ben Barber goes to the top of the NRL with 17 tries in 2012.
And not for the first time tonight, Josh Jackson providing a pass for Ben Barber for him to get across the try line. Jackson doing a wonderful job there. Standing in the tackle, or the flick pass, he might have got a bit of luck there. It bounced off Thurston's shoulder. Barber just in too close to the try line, pushing away from a Cowboys defender, taking Dallas Johnson across. And it was Thurston. Desperate lunge for his legs. Couldn't get hold of him. And he goes to the top.
Catch me if you can, he says to teammate Josh Morris. But Ben Barber finished top of the try-scoring equal last year with Nathan Merritt. They got over 23 times after Barber scored 8 tries in the final 4 rounds of 2011, including 4 in the very last round, round 26. He's picked up and run on with it in 2012 in the most sensational of fashion.
The Cowboys just haven't been able to get out of their half for the final 15 minutes of the game. A penalty late in the tackle count saw the Dogs kick 2 points. A Jonathan Thurston drop ball. Again, the pressure on the Cowboys. And since that drop ball from Thurston, the Dogs have scored 2 tries.
Hoping to stay perfect tonight. He makes it a 14-point ball game. The scoreline perhaps now not indicating how tight this contest was for most of the second half. And if you're wondering at home, Canterbury's club record winning streak is 17. At the moment, they are 9 in a row, 32-18 against North Queensland.
And out of those 9 games that they've won in a row, the win over the Cowboys tonight will make it 6 of those wins against top 8 sides. That's pretty impressive after a real gritty win against Manly last week, where they did most of it with 15 men. They've come out and beat the Cowboys tonight. It was 1v4. Just shows that the Dogs are the benchmark in 2012 at this time of the year.
They led 18-6 at halftime. It was 18-all midway through the second half. And the Dogs have it 32-18. Let's go onto the ground with Braithen Astor.
Yeah, I'm here with Bulldogs centre Josh Morris. That's 9 in a row. Must be proud of that.
Yeah, really proud of it. Obviously, we got a couple of late tries there, but that was probably our toughest challenge yet. They were really good side and kept coming at us. So, it was a great win from the boys.
You guys are sitting comfortably on top of the table now. Is the minor premiership a realistic goal for you guys now?
Oh, mate, it's the old cliche, take it a week as it comes. So we can't be worrying about what's ahead of us 5 weeks. It's whoever we play next, and we prepare like that week in, week out.
You're certainly doing a good job, mate. Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, Brave.
Jonathan Thurston and Michael Ennis having a chat after a highly entertaining game. And Ben Barber with 3 tries. If you look at the rugby league radar these days, there's a big red light in the middle flashing in the shape of a bulldog. The Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs on top by 4 points. We will break and come back to wrap it up from the Olympic Stadium. You're watching Bundaberg's Super Saturday on Fox Sports.
Well, Des Hasler's Bulldogs are a big blip on the radar in 2012. They're aiming up at a minor premiership, and after a 32-18 victory over what was a top 4 side tonight in the North Queensland Cowboys, that is one of their best wins for the season. Greg Alexander, they are every inch a quality team in 2012.
Well, they absolutely are. Look, they scored a couple of late tries to give the indication that it was a comfortable game for the Bulldogs, but it was a fight, and we know it. It was 18-6 their way at half-time, but it was all the Cowboys in the opening 20-25 minutes of that second half. They drew it to 18-all, but then weren't able to hang on, and momentum shifted, the penalty goal, and then the Jonathan Thurston drop ball, which really kept the Cowboys on the defence and the Bulldogs on the attack for that remaining, or the last 15 minutes of the match.
From what we're seeing of Ben Barber in 2012, comparisons need to be drawn to the form of Jared Hayne in 2009. He's quite exceptional, Ben Barber, isn't he?
Well, he is. The first half was unbelievable, where he just appeared from nowhere on 2 plays that looked like they were going to finish with the ball carriers, Josh Reynolds and Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson had a good game, and it was a nice pass that he threw for Barber's 3rd try, so he's involved in 2, but Ben Barber. They kept him pretty quiet in the second half, but couldn't keep him quiet all of it.
It was 18. Wouldn't be too disappointed with that effort tonight. It was just some patches of brilliance, and they didn't really get things going their way when